Alive and Well is brought to you by Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services.
Mother's Day is just around the corner. It's a perfect time to discuss how we can better support pregnant and postpartum moms and their families. We know it's a challenging time for anyone, and up to 20% can also struggle with anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Sarah DeYoung is a social worker from Pine Rest, specially certified to work with parents and families experiencing these issues, and I am so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so perinatal mood and anxiety disorders,
Yes.
PMAD.
Yes.
I understand that they affect 1 in 5 pregnant and new moms. That's quite a number.
It is. That's the leading complication of pregnancy and childbirth, and can also impact 1 in 10 partners as well, which many people don't always remember.
To think about the partner.
Yeah.
So what are they?
Yeah, so it can be any sort of anxiety, depression, any sort of mental health disorder that you either experience the onset for the first time in this phase or worsening symptoms in this phase. And you can experience, it's different from the baby blues. I think a lot of times people have heard of the baby blues.
Yes.
With those, the onset of that would be anytime like 3 to 5 days postpartum and last only about 2 weeks. And then you will start to feel those symptoms subside. The main emotion with those is still going to be joy, just with those bouts of tearfulness.
Yes.
Sleep, even a little cat nap would feel restorative. With something like postpartum depression, the onset usually isn't until at least 2 weeks. Sometimes later though, and can last through that first year, especially longer if untreated. And the main emotion you'll feel is depressed, down, difficulties attaching to baby. So a pretty significant difference between the two, and just something to watch for.
So, and there's help for those people. That's the good news. What can we regular folks do to support women who may find themselves in this situation?
Yeah, I think first of all is knowing that there is a pretty big stigma about reaching out. This is something I think a lot of women feel scared to admit, that they're really struggling in that phase, because this is supposed to be beautiful. We're supposed to be glowing, loving this. It is hard. It is a very hard phase.
Yes.
And I think just giving them that space to talk and to really listen to how they're doing. If they say they're tired, yes, that's normal, and what can we do to help you in this? Also little things like offering to do chores, bringing meals. If they've got older kids, offering to take them to go do something fun, give them some attention. So really just showing up for them.
Are certain people prone, or is this also, this is a second question, can a physician or even a loved one who's really close identify a person who might be prone to this?
Yeah, I think given those rates that you talked about, 20%, 1 in 5, I think it's important to know that we're kind of all at risk for this. Some people do end up being more at risk. So if you've had any sort of like historical diagnosis of a mental health disorder, it kind of increases the risk of developing either those worsening symptoms or like a return. If you have any sort of difficulties with a pregnancy, so infertility, a previous loss, if your partner also has a mental health disorder, sometimes that can worsen yours. Any complications like with delivery, so a NICU stay, if you are delivering multiples, that can also help increase that risk.
So at what point does somebody reach out for help?
I think if you are struggling or thinking up with hearing this and thinking about, man, I kind of want to talk to somebody, that's a great opportunity. Certainly if you're experiencing on that higher end of symptoms, like maybe suicidal thoughts of hurting yourself or baby, you can definitely reach out then.
And then Pine Rest, of course, is a great resource. How and when, at what point does Pine Rest step in?
So we actually offer a variety of services kind of at any point of your severity of symptoms. For that higher risk, we have our psychiatric urgent care center. We also have our day program, the mother and baby partial hospitalization, which sounds scarier than it is. It's a day program that you can go and sit in classes all day with peers who are kind of struggling in that same phase as you. You can bring your baby up to 8 months postpartum, or 8 months of age, and there's a nursery there. We also have at Pine Rest a whole team specializing in this area of outpatient therapists and psychiatrists, offering both in-person and virtual. And then finally, we have our newest group. It's called Rooted in Resilience that I run, and it's virtual and is 8 weeks and open to anybody.
All right, all good news surrounding that mother and family to get
Yes.
them the help that they need. If you'd like more information, visit pinerest.org/PMAD. Sarah, thank you for being here.
Thank you.